Hello everyone, it is lesson time at ISIFE EDUBLOG. Today we shall be looking at the English topic, figures of speech. Your guide remains Martin Ekpa. Now, figures of speech, of course, veritable topic. The students of literature will have a whole lot to gain from here because this is a topic that is prominent in both the English language and literature in English. So, we have you covered. Figures of speech are all the ways by which words are used non-literally. All the ways by which words are used non-literally. This is needful because it is not everything that you can say with words as they exist. Yes, a musician said that words are not enough. Honestly, words are not enough. There are situations, there are conditions where you find yourself and you discover that words are not just enough. So, for us to cover all there is to say, or as much as we can say, we have to revert to other means. We have the idioms, we have the proverbs, and we have figures of speech. Take note of this. Figures of speech should not be mistaken as idioms. I say this because a lot of times I see people use this figure of speech, this idiom, kick the bucket, as a figure of speech. The expression kick the bucket is not a figure of speech, it is an idiomatic expression. Figures of speech are instruments of language that you can look in between. If you look into the expression properly, you find the meaning. But idioms are so tight that a lot of times the set of words that make up an idiom cannot be traced to their meaning. Look at the expression kick the bucket. There's nothing connecting kicking the bucket and dying, but that is what it means. Alright? To kick the bucket is to die in this sense. So that's not how figures of speech are used. Figures of speech are in a way that you can read the meaning in between the words. Right? There are connotative. So let us not make that mistake of thinking that kick the bucket is an example of euphemism. It's not. It's a complete idiom. Okay, back here. They help one express oneself even in awkward situations. That was what I explained earlier. That you could find yourself, it could be a help you received. You know, thank you is a phrase or a sentence that is universally accepted to be a way of appreciating somebody. But there are times when thank you is not enough. Take for instance, if you were saved, you've been drowning. The ocean is wide. Now, in the middle of it, you're drowning. Who do you call for help? But then, a fisherman passing by sees you from a distance and suspects that this might be a human being drowning, and abandons his fishing, rows his boat until he comes to you, dives into the water, pushes you, manages to get you into the boat, and rescues you from that experience, takes you home, presses your body and stomach, especially letting the water out of your body. If you wake up, if you survive the experience, if you get recovered, we thank you enough to appreciate this person. Obviously, it is not enough. So, to enable you express yourself, your gratitude to this person, you become a little bit more creative, looking for something that will be greater than thank you. That is where figures of speech come to play. Now, we have a number of examples here. The first figure of speech we have on the board is metaphor. If need be, I said things or conditions that are difficult to be described literally are tactfully described using figures of speech. That was why I told you that story on drowning. So examples of figures of speech are: 1. Metaphor. Metaphor is also known as compressed simile. Simile and metaphor are figures of comparison. But while simile makes the sentence long, metaphor makes the sentence short, because it compares without the use of as or like. But please note, both simile and metaphor comprise things of different kinds. Things of different kinds. There are little things that people do not get to figure out as teachers and as students. So we continue to make such mistakes. Now, if I say he is tall, I've simply made a flat, literal English sentence. Alright? In metaphor, therefore, we'll say he is a palm tree. Palm trees are known to be tall, but far taller than human beings. So in drawing the comparison between a human and a palm tree, you are tickling somebody's sense of imagination to actually realize that this fellow is very tall. That is the essence of metaphor. It's not just to drop some kind of flat statement like he is tall. Now, if you say in simile, for instance, he is as tall as his father, you have not succeeded in making a good simile. Alright? Because if his father is tall, there is a tendency that he will be tall. So, please don't compare. If you want to use simile and metaphor, don't compare using the same species. Use things of different kinds. Okay. Now, our examples of metaphor will show you this. The first one says, life is a highway. How? What does this mean? Life is a highway. Yes. In other words, this fellow is saying that life is survival of the fittest. If you're not strong, if your car is not in good condition, you cannot ply the highway. Alright? So that's that. You must be focused. You must have the energy to go through the highway called life. Her eyes were diamonds. You know how sparkling diamonds can be. And this example compares a lady's eye, a girl's eyes, to the diamond because they are magnetic. Now, he is a shining star. That's a typical metaphor. He's a shining star. You can notice him even from a distance. You do not need to ask. He is noticeable. The snow is a wire blanket. Yes. that gives you a clear picture of what the snow looks like. But note that this blanket, if you use it to cover your body, you might get frozen. You might get frozen. She is an early bird. Yes. Instead of saying she wakes up early, she starts everything she does on time. This person said she is an early bird. You know, they say the early bird catches the worm. Here is another example that says Achebe is the Iroko of African literature. Achebe is the Iroko of African literature. Iroko is a tree, we know, but then, given the giant nature of the Iroko, Achebe, with his giant footprint in the world of literature, has been compared to the Iroko. I think he got a title in his hometown, Ugobenelogy, which is the eagle on the Iroko. I like that one. Okay, we go to simile proper. So simile is a figure of speech that compares using as or like. So that's why we said it is longer, because when you bring in as, you're going to mention what that thing behaves like or as. Nile and Nyanza lay like twins. Alright? Simile metaphor would simply say Nile and Nyanza are twins. But simile will say lay like twins, introducing what one looks like. So, Nile is a river, Nyanza is a river, and the two of them lay like twins. Twins, human now. So you see what I mean? You compare with things that are not the same. She is as lazy, as slow as a sloth. She is as slow as a sloth. Jane is as busy as a bee. Wole is as proud as a peacock. That classmate of mine is as blind as a bat. Simile enriches language. You know, as feet, as a fiddle. Similar. And there are quite a good number of them. I think I may have to give you this assignment. Ask Google or use any other platform you can afford to find out more English simile. Alright? Get as many as you can to enrich your expressions. When writing essays, they are necessary. We'll continue by looking at other figures of speech. So we continue our lesson focusing on personification this time, and said personification is a figure of speech that gives human attributes to inanimate objects, animals, or insects. I do not limit my definition to inanimate objects because animals and insects are also personified. Again, flowers are personified, and flowers are not inanimate, they are living things. When human attribute goes to other beings, we begin to talk of personification. So please graduate from that definition that limits it to inanimate objects. We have more to do than that. Now, what bird sings over there? A bird is not an inanimate object. Is a bird an animal? But here we say it sings. Birds naturally tweet. Birds do what? Birds tweet. That is why the maker of Twitter has bird as its symbol, because the word tweet is the sound that birds make. Alright? So, this time we say bird sings. What bird sings there? Human beings sing. Birds tweet. So, for saying that a bird sings, we have personified the bird. The wind spread her hand and embraced me. Human beings have hand, human beings take hair, human beings spread. So in this second sentence, we have three reasons to say personification, giving human quality to the wind. The cricket woke me up. The cricket woke me up and showed me the door. The cricket woke me up and showed me the door. What a duty it performed, assisting you probably to escape or to wake up early enough to do your duties. That's giving human attribute to the cricket. The moon smiled at me. The moon smiled at me. Another example, giving the attribute smile to the moon. The flies waved at the landlord in a welcome gesture. The flies waved at the landlord in a welcome gesture. Next is hyperbole. Hyperbole. This is otherwise called exaggeration. Exaggeration. Overstatement. That is another name for hyperbole. This figure of speech achieves effects by overstating number, size, or condition. I will have a couple of examples here. Overstate something. Overblow it. Say it more than it appears so that the person who was not there will feel the impact. I didn't attend a party. Achebe wrote in Things Fall Apart that Okonkwo provided so much food that his visitors were divided into two. The food was in the middle, and those at the other side could not see those at this side. They ate and ate until at the point when the food was brought down, the mantle of food a mountain of food was brought down, and people could see those at the other side. That kind of exaggeration, you can't miss it. You will feel bad that you didn't attend that party. That's the essence of this. Now, I saw 1,000,000 footwear at the entrance. Perhaps it's a viewing center, and the viewing center owner says nobody goes in wearing the footwear. And so, to exaggerate the number of people that watched that match at that viewing center, this fellow said, I saw 1,000,000 footwear at the entrance. Note that I didn't say footwears. These are little things you should note. I didn't say footwears. Footwear. 1,000,000 footwear at the entrance. 1,000 years will be counted 1 year. Yes, there's this play I read not long ago, titled it Sacrilege. And one of the exaggerations I saw there, 1,000 years will be counted 1 year for you. That is, the king will reign for quite a long time, and the people wish him this. 1,000 years will be counted 1 year for you. It was so cold. I saw polar bears wearing hats and jackets. That's the extent of cold. Alright? Now, what could be the hat and the jacket? The snow could have formed the hat and the jackets for the polar bears. The extent of cold. When I was young, I had to walk 15 miles to school uphill in the snow. That's a lot of pain to go through. Growing up is not easy, They ran like greased lightning. I had to, let me talk about this particular example. This falls between simile and hyperbole. The extent of exaggeration is beyond what simile can do. Alright? To that they ran like greased lightning is too fast. Alright? So we could see this more as hyperbole. But in an examination situation, if the examiner did not adjudge it to be a typical hyperbole, like I did, I see this as more as a hyperbole than as similar. But if you have in a set of options or a list of options similar, but there is no hyperbole, please go for similar. If you have similar and hyperbole, I don't advise examiners to do that because you can't fault a child who picks similar as the answer. So examiners should do well when they have figures of speech like this. If they have one, the other shouldn't appear. But where the two appear, let your judgment be that this is more of a hyperbole than a similar. That's that we've seen metaphor, we've seen similar, we've seen personification, we've seen hyperbole. In our next lesson, we'll bring you 4 or 5 more figures of speech. So it's not over yet, but in our next video, we'll see more of the figures of speech. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share these videos of ours as we bring you closer to learning. Live to learn is our slogan here. Thank you.